Right, so it looks like it's straight out of the ice and into the Fires of Volcor. Yeah, so the next set for Flesh and Blood has been announced as The Hunted. So we're continuing the storyline. Arachne has assassinated the Emperor, and now two vengeful Drakai are on his tail, right? Trying to hunt him and his web of assassins down, right? Already gorgeous marvels unveiled, right? So there is a lot to unpack here for the Hunted. So before we do just that, right, we'll go back up to the roadmap and speak about a few things just briefly. So we do have the product roadmap for the next year of FaB, starting of course with the Jarl deck in November, and then the Hunted coming out in January. Then 3 more Armory decks before the midway set of the year, and another Armory deck, and then the Mastery Pack for Guardian, which is kind of curious, right? Because it seems like the Mastery Pack is going to connect more to the set of 16, or this following set, perhaps, rather than the Jarl's Armory deck, which is very curious to me. But in December, we do also have a Japanese release, so in Japan only, 100% reprints, Mastery Pack Archive, basically a whole bunch of Jarl support for Japan. So yeah, gonna be kind of interesting to see what's in there, right? And what the Jarl is really going to utilize, but he seems to be the closer for the year. And again, even though the Hunted sort of takes away the hype from him, he is still looking absolutely glorious, right? So I can't wait to see what's in the Armory deck. But yeah, the Hunted. Is there anything else I can add? You know what? We can take a gander at set 16. Why not? So it seems like we're getting 2 story-driven sets and then a event set, if you want to call it that, right? So think Everfest with the Carnival, think Heavy Hitters with the Deathmatch Arena. So I would be curious to see if set 16 maybe goes to the Savage Lands and, you know, there's some sort of festival or some sort of trial going on, right? Maybe looking for a new chieftain or something a bit more enclosed than these big overarching storylines that we're seeing, you know, through Rosetta, through Mistveil, and that way, you know, the writing team has a bit of a leeway to prepare for then that 3rd set of the year, right? Which hasn't been announced, but I would assume, right, we're getting a September, October-ish set again. So yeah, fantastic looking horizon for Flesh and Blood. But on to the Hunted, and again, a lot of stuff has already been revealed, including the draft mechanics, or some of the draft mechanics, which is, again, fantastic. I love every set having its own draft experience and being very unique, right? It's beautiful. So we have this marked mechanic. So depending on what hero you're playing and what hero you're facing, you have very powerful cards that can get you all different types of bonuses. So I'm curious what the go will be, right? Maybe we'll see a bit more sideboarding so that you can swap out these mark cards depending on who you're facing. But we have marked, which is just a token that just says you've been marked, right? And then different effects depending on who you mark. So as, for instance, the Drakar, either Syndra or Fang, they're not listed here just yet. We'll get to them in a second, right? So we have Proclaim Vengeance, so mark target opposing hero. If that hero is Arachne, gain 1 resource. Then on the Arachne side of things, we have marked hero is Fang or marked hero Syndra. We get draw a card, right? So that is very interesting. And stealth and contract in a singular card. Cool. Then we also have a new mechanic by way of tokens called Fealty, right? So we'll open that up. And a very scary looking promo, right? This card just seems like it's going to be the absolute juice for Ninja, right? So when this attacks, if it is Draconic, it gets go again, and the next 3 Draconic cards you play this turn cost 1 less to play. So Fealty in itself is already a very interesting mechanic because this does exactly what that needs. It allows you, as I would assume, either Warrior or Ninja, because they're the 2 of the 3 classes, along with Assassin by way of Arachne. It allows them to create or give Draconic 2 different cards. So instant, destroy this, next card you play this turn is Draconic. At the beginning of your end phase, if you haven't created a Fealty token or played a Draconic card this turn, destroy this, right? So an interesting upkeep mechanic, but yeah, just a pop this to give something Draconic. And then into a card like this. Right, so I'm curious what Warriors side of it will be, but this is already fantastic. Beautiful art. Yeah, going to be super interesting. And given the thematics, I'm hoping we get Ninja daggers that aren't Draconic, right? So that we can stockpile a few more daggers for some of the other heroes. But on to some of the other stuff. So, Marvels. Let's start there, right? So there is 17 Marvels in total for the Hunted right? And we already know quite a few. So we have Arachne and his web of assassins, and I'm going to assume that each of these are going to be similar to the Fealty, right? Most likely just being a token that you put on board and acts in a sense like Illusionist or Cassie and her soldiers, because we do have obviously different characters, right? I think one thought was maybe that they were masks, so you can transition into them as different demi-heroes as Arachne, but I think if the Draconic heroes, right, are creating these Fealty tokens, Arachne is going to have his own collection of assassins. So yeah, they're all spider themed. So Arachne Black Widow, Arachne Red something, Orb Weaver, and a Trapdoor. But that's already 6 of the Marvels showcase, along with Fealty, makes 7. So 7 out of the 17 Marvels, right, which gives us 10 remaining. Throw away another 6 for the heroes, right? So Arachne, Young and Old, Syndra and Fang, Young and Old. That leaves us with 3 more. But I guess another interesting thing to note is there are 4 heroes, right? So we know it's Syndra, we know it's Fang, we know it's Arachne. I don't know why I guess they didn't want to spoil Arachne's new look, right? And then someone else, right? So yeah, maybe the Emperor. I could see them trying to do something with him, maybe. Yeah. You know what? I'll go. Maybe the 4th deck is the Emperor or Ira being lost in the land. Either way, right? We have Draconic Ninja, Draconic Warrior. We have Chaos Assassin. Yeah, Chaos is the new subtype, right? I don't know if it's just going to be tied to the demi-hero status or creating whatever you're creating as Arachne, but that was all showcased in the keynote speech. So if you haven't seen it, go check it out on the Flesh and Blood channel, right? Chaos. It looks cool, and obviously it's this stylization, which is very chaotic and very all over the place. Reds and purples and blues, beautiful looking, and then even Arachne's design already, which I didn't say anything on, but he already looks gnarly as. So yeah, super exciting. But we have more cards to get into. So we have the premiere events going out in Prague, and also worth noting, where is the little line, right? So we have most of the commons and rares in the Hunted we kept secret. Now, just a little tidbit, this is the reverse of Rosetta, but the same as Mistveil. And I'm kind of curious why they backtracked, right? So when Mistveil came out, we saw all the high rarity cards, and then speculators went ham, and the launch of Mistveil was ripe with inflated prices and FOMO. So I thought they were doing the right thing when it came to Rosetta and keeping the high rarity cards as a reveal in the preview season, much closer to release, but they've flipped it for the Hunted. So yeah, we're going to see most of the high rarity cards during the preview season, and then commons and rares, or your draft filler, right, for the world premiere. Maybe that's a way to make sure that when you're drafting, it's a fresh experience. No one has sort of beeline to the deck they want to make or the heroes that they want to draft for, right? But with the Calling Prague, we have a whole bunch of more revealed cards, thanks to the promo pack. So we have pack A and B, right? And I think that looks to be the warrior version of Art of the Dragon Blood. And then we also have a look at Arachne already too. Look, a couple more promos. Any more? Yep. Okay. Any more promos? No. Cool. So what do we have? A little bit blurry. That's fine. We will do our best to zoom in and try to read what we can read. So target weapon attack gains plus something, and something this, I can't read that for shit, but it is definitely target weapon attack gains plus, I'm going to say 3 it looks like, right? And a hit effect, I'd assume. Flurry stance, and also worth noting, right, these are all just warrior, right? These are all just ninja, so it seems like Draconic will be something you invoke, right? Meaning that the Hunted is still going to be a huge support for both ninja and warrior. Ninja definitely makes sense, obviously, with the reaping of ninja cards, thanks to Zen. But more warrior support is always interesting because they can go down so many different avenues depending on which weapons the cards favor, right? So we have the Dragon Claw, Fire, and Scale. When this attacks, if it is Draconic, deal 2 damage to any target. I'm glad that one's nice and easy to read. So they all seem to be, if they're Draconic Claws for the ninja cards. It gains, when this hits a hero, destroy all cards in their arsenal. Perfect. And then we have a -1 counter to armor, it looks like, right? And then if it has a -1 counter, destroy it. Interesting, some ninja destruction. For the warrior, we have, at the start of your turn, destroy this, then your dagger attacks gain +1. Okay. A warrior with daggers. Interesting. At the start of your turn, destroy this, then your dagger attacks go again, and then at the start of your turn, destroy this. You may attack with a dagger, you something an additional time this turn. A dagger you control. Fill in the blank, right? So, yeah. Okay, dagger support for warrior. Interesting. Hopefully we get new daggers, and I would still assume, right, from the art style that they've given to Syndra. Do we have a proper look at Syndra? I think we had the young version, right, down in the bundle, right? It's still dual weapons. Well, it's kind of like 3 weapons, if anything, attached to her robes. But yeah, so interesting looking cards. Then we have Arachne Jibber Jabber, right, as a Chaos Assassin hero. The first attack with stealth each turn gets to go again. 4 intellect and 38 life, right? So curious. What else do we have? We have Tarantula Toxin as a assassin attack reaction. Choose one. Dagger attacks get +3, and target card defending attack with stealth gets -3. That is great, right? A shred and a buff, right? If you're using daggers. Blood runs deep. This costs 1 less play for each Draconic chain link you control for Ninja. And when this attacks a hero, each dagger you control, so it seems like everyone is just going to have daggers, right? Deal 1 damage to them. If damage is dealt this way, the dagger has hit, destroy the dagger. Ooh, so a new dagger damage mechanic. That's interesting. So it means that the I would assume the ninja daggers coming out are going to have some interesting on-hit effects. Long Whisker Loyalty. So for each Draconic chain link for warrior, choose one. Target dagger gets +2. You may attack an additional time with dagger, or this dagger will mark whoever you hit. Interesting. So everyone will have the mark mechanic. I'm curious if mark has a overarching theme outside of draft, right? Because obviously the draft cards that we've seen all do this if you're facing X hero, right? So maybe extra damage, maybe less block, maybe like a reverse embodiment of Earth, something, right? Then we have for the Drakai, when this attacks a marked hero, there we go, right? Normal marked effect. Create a Fealty token. Sorry, not Frailty, Fealty. Yeah, too close. When it stacks a marked hero, so everyone is creating Fealty tokens. Well, no, these are for Draconic, so they're not for Arachne, but I assume Arachne will have something to do with marked. Yeah, so that's already quite a few cards, and that tells us a lot about sets. Everyone's getting daggers, right? Interesting. Maybe there'll be just a Draconic dagger, and then Warrior Ninja dagger, maybe a Ninja Assassin dagger. Oh, there's lots of ways they could spin it, right? And we could just get a whole range of daggers, which again, I'd love. In fact, with the fact that we have concealed weapon, we have Hurl, we have all these ways to trigger the dagger effects and get a whole bunch of dagger attacks out there, right? To pick up the tempo. And if we're getting more destruction effects, I would be curious to see if there's going to be more re-equip effects. But I think that's all the cards from the Cooling Prague, right? I want to say. Put that back to normal zoom. Yeah, beautiful, right? So again, that's already quite a lot of things spoiled. So we're still missing a hero. We're still missing 3 marvels, right? Again, we counted out 6 Arachne weblings, right? The Fealty token, that's 7, so that leaves 10. Then at least 6 heroes, so yeah, that leaves 4. There's 4 marvels still to be seen. Expansion slot, do we have a total number, right? Anywhere? 15 new cards. Again, I would like to see this, as I always say, expanded upon, right? Again, 1 card for every person, rather than just the archetypes that they want to support currently. I don't know. Again, maybe the design is limited, but it wouldn't hurt, right? 6 legendaries, 1 fabled, 42 majestics, the usual. I guess it's worth noting, prices have gone up. Here in Australia, no one really cares about the recommended sale price, recommended retail price, right? Boxes usually hover, God, it was 160, and I think generally speaking, get them for about 140, 120 to 140, right? So that's still a huge decline in what, again, they advertised that you could to a store sell it for versus what the store is actually selling for. I know America has, you can only sell it at this price minus 20%, 10%, whatever it is, right? So yeah, here we are. There we go, the lowest price policy, right? So again, I don't think this is going to do anything. I'm curious if it means that production costs have gone up, distribution costs have gone up, or overall, it's just inflation, right? With the times, I doubt, again, in Australia or most places, are going to hit these prices, because FaB just doesn't have a minimum to have a premium on boxes. Everyone predominantly buys singles. Japanese version has Brave Forge Braces and Valiant Dynamo. A lot of dagger attacks, makes a lot of sense. Anything else of interest? Say anything? Blitz deck 40, usual. 2 booster packs, that's usual. I love the mat, right? It's very early MTG, to be honest. But yeah, it still looks beautiful. Nonetheless, usual count box. The design for this is also glorious. I love the Oni masks. I have a giant tattoo of one on my back. Anything else of interest from the keynote speech, other than the competitive stuff? No, I think that about wraps it up, right? With everything we want to say. Definitely be looking into the cards a lot more, but yeah, it's already a lot going on for the set and a lot we can uncover, but boy oh boy, am I super glad that the Marvels are returning to beautiful designs, right? I was not too excited with just, a plentiful amount of not really great Marvels. Again, I still think Young Heroes should go, right? Unless, again, thematics, like the Angels, like the Dragons, beautiful. Evos, equipment, different aura tokens, doesn't really do it for me, right? Even like the Crouching Tiger was nice. But yeah, my money's on them being token allies for Arachne. Anyway, we'll leave it there. Hope you enjoyed. Yeah, let me know what you think about the Hunted. Yeah.